Okay, and now the story that I really want to talk about. Fellow comedian Hassan Minaj caught flack static because of an article talking about there was a story that he told that wasn't true, and the story involved racism. And I saw certain people, white people, I'm not gonna fake it. I saw some white comics and some white people run with this story. And I remember when the story happened. I didn't see the early story. I didn't read the story when they said when Hassan or when they implied Hassan had been lying. Because it was about race, I immediately went to the position of I know nobody brown ever has to make up racist stories. Like there's no reason for us to make up stories of racism. There's zero. We have literally hundreds a week, if not a day, depending on where you live. Okay, depending on just how. If you live someplace where you're the only black person, you probably have thousands of things that you could talk about on stage a day. And if you live someplace that is even when you live someplace that isn't that's predominantly black, you have to interact with white people, and some racist shit is gonna happen. White people act like racism is rare. It happens to us every day, all the time. No comic ever has to make that shit up. Now I say all that to say because the truth is coming out. Hassan, they tried to play a dude that, I mean, a lot of people have been saying this and I'm jumping in on this. They tried to play a dude whose whole thing is fact checking shit. They thought he wasn't gonna have receipts for his own shit. Run him, Hassan.
Say this. I am 38 years old with a wife and 2 kids. I do not give a shit about prom. But it's a big story from my first stand-up special, and the New Yorker implied that I made it all up and that my race wasn't a factor in my rejection. But it was, and I have the evidence to prove it. So, in Homecoming King, I told a story about how I was supposed to go to prom with a white girl named Bethany Reed. Her real name is not Bethany. I changed it to protect her anonymity. I say that I show up at Bethany's house on prom night, but at the doorstep, her mom tells me they don't want her to go to prom with me because they'll be taking a lot of pictures and they don't want their family back home to see her with a brown boy. Bethany's mom did really say that. It was just a few days before prom. And I created the doorstep scene to drop the audience into the feeling of that moment, which I told the reporter.
Is the doorstep moment true? Like,
No,
did that happen?
no, it happened before. Like, but the emotional truth remains the same. Her mom going, "Hey, sweetie, we take photos and we don't want people to see. We have family back home."
Did she sort of give that as the reason of like my parents aren't comfortable with
Yes.
going to, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just destroyed me.
Yeah. Sure. That's understandable.
The reporter said it's understandable. But none of what I explicitly said makes it in the article. This is what they wrote instead.
She told me that she turned down Minhaj, who was then a close friend, in person days before the dance. Minhaj acknowledged that this was correct, but he said that the two of them had long carried different understandings of her rejection.
This whole paragraph makes it sound like I got friend-zoned by Bethany, and then I turned into an angry incel, and then faked racism to get back at her. And I think this sentence is the reason why people believe that. He said that the two of them had long carried different understandings of her rejection. This sentence is incredibly misleading and implies the exact opposite of what I meant. Let me explain. Okay. Over a decade after prom, in August of 2014, Bethany and I met at a restaurant called Sarah Betts in New York, and we cleared the air on what her mom said to me at prom. Now, I talk about this in Homecoming King, and I also told the New Yorker about this meetup.
She had an understanding that we were like totally cool. And like I had been carrying something completely different. And I just told her what it meant. Like, it's like, do you understand what it's like being a skinny Muslim Desi brown kid in Davis, California? And, you know, we're always told to put our head down and just take it. And I did. And I carried this water for like years and years.
When the article says we had different understandings, what I clearly meant was that Bethany never knew how much her family being racist had affected me. That's why we had different understandings, not because Bethany denied this happened.
It's my birthday, y'all. Short episode today, no episode tomorrow. Well, my birthday's tomorrow. Halloween! Happy Halloween, everybody. Hope you have fun. Get out there, get your Halloween freak on and all that stuff. I see y'all Wednesday. That's today's show. We definitely appreciate your likes, your shares, your DMs, your follows, your hearts, your stars, your snaps, everything that you can do to help us make this show a thing. You know how this works.